Hello friends, a warm welcome from Aussie's Group. My name is Malcolm and I'm your PT coach. And again we are back with a live session today. Well, today's live session is called the PT Open House with Malcolm, which means that you can ask any of your queries regarding PT to me and I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of my capacity. Well, first of all, I'd like to begin this session by saying that many times I've come across scorecards, in fact recently, and I've come across many people also, many test takers, who generally had been getting a very good score earlier in speaking, but suddenly the speaking score has gone down. And then people start to wonder that what has happened to PT? Has anything changed in PT? Because I used to get 90 easily earlier, but now I'm not able to get 90 in speaking. Well, so honestly speaking, nothing has changed, but unfortunately the problem is that sometimes people start following templates, and mainly in Describe, Emit and Retell lecture, these are the two tasks where people use templates, and there's nothing wrong with using templates, but the only problem is sometimes people speak very fast when they use templates. And fortunately or unfortunately, PT is a software, and if you speak very fast, and if you don't take pauses at all between your sentences, then obviously the software doesn't understand what you're saying, and to understand it needs to understand the keywords. So honestly, I would recommend everyone out here listening to me that try to speak fluently, focus more on oral fluency. Now many times people ask me like, what exactly is the meaning of the word oral fluency? Does it mean speed? So no, not necessarily speed. Yeah, you need to speak like a native speaker does, which means you need to be fluent, which means you should not take a lot of pauses while you're speaking. You should not do a lot of while you're speaking, especially in tasks like Describe, Image and Retell lecture. But at the same time, we should also not speak very fast, because the problem is if you speak very fast, as I said, the software doesn't understand. All right. Now also let me talk about the first task in speaking, which is read aloud, which has a substantial influence on the speaking and reading scores both. Now the name of the task is obviously read aloud, which means you read it first and then you speak, which means you get a lot of points in speaking and reading. It's an integrated task. Now when it comes to read aloud, again, I'm saying that we should not be very fast. Unfortunately, people think that the faster they speak, the higher the score will be in speaking. Well, it's not like that. You don't need to be very fast. You just need to be moderately paced, and you need to be fluent, which means don't take unnecessary pauses. Don't take unnecessary hesitations. And even if you make mistakes, don't correct yourself, because if you do false starts or if you correct yourself again and again, well, then obviously the content might be subtracted or added compared to the content which is there in the database, and obviously then the reading score will go down. Right, and Kishore Podel has commented, I got my score. I used my own template in DI. DI means Describe Image. So thanks for sharing that, Kishore. Definitely you can get a 90 by using even a template. But as I said, I clearly mentioned that even if you use a template, feel free to use it, but say it the right way. Right way means take the right pauses at the right intervals, because if it's very fast, then the score again goes down. If you take the right pauses, then definitely you can get a full score, of course. Well, another very important task in speaking is the task of repeat sentence, where you need to listen to a sentence and then you need to repeat the sentence. And again, many times I've seen that people, even who've been getting 90 many times in their earlier tests in speaking, get a score something like 70s, or in the, let's say, early 70s or late 70s in speaking. Suddenly it comes down from 90. And one of the main reasons for that is repeat sentence. The problem is that in repeat sentence, there is no beep. You get 3 seconds before the audio starts, then the audio will play very quickly, and as soon as it ends, roughly after a second, you will see a recording icon on your screen, and immediately after that, subsequently, the bar on your screen will start to move. Generally, it's a green bar in the actual exam. Now, the best time to start repeating the sentence is when you see the first bar on the screen. If you speak before you see the bar, chances are sometimes it might not be recorded, and sometimes in anxiousness or in hurry, people start to speak too early, too soon. and obviously then it's not going to be recorded. So just wait for the bar and then start speaking as fluently as you can. Another thing is that in repeat sentence, definitely we should not take any pauses. We should not think, and we should be as fluent as possible, and try to mimic the tone of the speaker as well. That definitely helps with the scoring in pronunciation. Now, to improve the score in fluency and pronunciation, the most important thing is you need to be as fluent as you can be. Don't take unnecessary pauses. And to improve the score in pronunciation, try to open your mouth more when you speak. Like many times it feels, that people are talking to themselves. It's not even clear. For example, if I talk like this, it's not clear right now, right? It's not, obviously, because it sounds something like a slang. I'm trying to speak something, but it's not at all clear. But at the same time, if I open my mouth clearly, it's very clear to hear, right? So definitely we should work on pronunciation if we want a high score in read aloud and in repeat sentence. Both of these tasks, pronunciation matters a lot. Well, there's a question from Manu Kwake, and he's asking, sir, how to increase the score on reading and writing? Thanks for asking the question, Manu. Well, to increase the score in reading, first and one of the most important tasks is read aloud. And as I said, read aloud contributes significantly to the reading score. Approximately, you might get somewhere around 20 to 35 points in your reading score out of 90, which is a lot of points, as you can imagine. So just think 6 questions or 7 questions of read aloud are going to give you around 20 to 35 or 37 points out of 90 in reading, which means read aloud should be perfect. You should speak as fluently, just take the right pauses at the full stops, and try not to make false starts, and don't correct yourself. The fewer the mistakes you make in read aloud, the higher the chances of getting a good score in reading. The second task which will improve your score in reading is summarize written text, and if written in the right way, it will also help you in having a good score in the writing module, because summarize written text means you read the text on the screen and then you write a summary. So if you select the right content, the correct keywords from the passage in summarize written text, then definitely you get a good score in reading also. And if you write it in the correct way, that is, if you use the correct connectors or the link words and you use the correct punctuation marks, definitely the score in writing will also go up subsequently. So the next task you need to focus for reading is all the blanks in reading. Now, blanks cover a vast array of topics. Mainly, you need to be good with vocabulary. Second thing for blanks is grammar. Third thing for blanks is collocations. Words which are co-located are called collocations in English. Now, collocations, honestly speaking, is a part of vocabulary, which means if you use collocations in your writing, mainly in the essay writing, the score of writing goes up automatically because the score of vocabulary also goes up. And lastly, my best advice in blanks is just understand the logic of the passage. Many times it might happen that we might not know the meaning of the word or the words in the options, but just be a bit patient. Never hurry when you solve blanks. Try to sort out one blank after the other very logically, one by one. It should make logical flow. And if you're getting the drop-down blanks correct, they contribute significantly even to the writing score. So, and that's why they're called reading and writing blanks, or the drop-down blanks in reading. Generally, you get 4 to 8 questions, which might be lengthy sometimes in the actual passage. And per question, you might have 5 to 7 missing words or blanks. So just focus more on reading and writing blanks. And lastly, even the listening module has 3 tasks which significantly impact the writing score. One is summarize spoken text, the first task in listening. Second is fill in the blanks in listening. And third is write from dictation, the last task in listening. If these 3 tasks go well, you get a very high score in writing. Mark my words, you get a very, very high score if these 3 tasks are 100% perfect. And last but not the least, if you want to increase your reading score, then also focus on highlight incorrect words, which is a task in the listening module, is the second last task. Now, highlight incorrect words gets you points in listening and reading both. That's why it's very important for reading score. And the last task we should not take lightly is also reorder paragraphs. You might be wondering, I'm saying about all the tasks, but all of these tasks are the most important ones for the reading score. That's why I'm stressing more. And lastly, in reorder paragraphs, you get points for pairing. So just make the right pairs. And if you don't have enough time, just move on to the next question. I hope I answered your question. Thank you. Well, Asita Fernando is here and she's saying, hi Malcolm. Hi Asita, hope you're fine. Good to see you over here. And Kalappa Badigar is also saying, I am lacking in the reading module. Well, Kalappa Badigar, thanks for asking that question. As I was answering the question which was asked by Manu, he also asked the same question, how to improve the reading and writing score. So when it comes to reading, I would suggest focus mainly on read aloud. That's super important for reading. Second thing you should focus on is summarize written text. That is again very important for the reading and writing score. Thirdly, a high weight comes from the reading blanks. All the blanks in reading, may they be drag and drop or the drop down blanks, they give a lot of points in actual reading and the writing score both, mainly the drop down blanks. And lastly, also focus on reorder paragraphs and highlight incorrect words in listening and reading modules respectively. Focus on the main tasks and you'll get your score. But the three most important tasks are, first is all the blanks, second is read aloud, third is summarize written text, and fourth is highlight incorrect words. These four should be perfect according to me. Well, Pranita is here as well. Hi Pranita. Parnita. Hi Parnita, thanks for joining in. Parnita is asking, I'm lacking in listening to get 8. How can I score more marks in listening? Now Parnita, listening is impacted by almost everything. That is, speaking impacts listening very heavily and listening module also impacts listening. So if you calculate the total tasks which give points to listening are 8 in the listening module and 3 in the speaking module, total 11 out of 20 tasks give you points in listening. So if you're lacking in listening, if you could just write down your score over here, also of speaking, I'll be able to understand your scoring more. But mainly to get through in listening, focus more on repeat sentence, extremely important. Secondly, focus also on write from dictation. These two, repeat sentence and write from dictation, make up almost 40 to 50% of your points in listening. That's why they are the most important tasks. In both of the tasks, basically you need to do the same thing. You just need to repeat it and rewrite it. Write from dictation, repeat the sentence. But if you're more accurate in these two tasks, generally, life becomes much easier and it's easy to get 90 out of 90 in listening also. After these two tasks, focus also on summarize spoken text. That task will give you points in listening, content points. After that, focus on retell lecture. Even that task is important for listening content points. And lastly, many times I've seen that, you've written your score, you got 90 in speaking and 78 in listening, which is a bit unfortunate. I can empathize with you. Just check your vocabulary score. If your vocabulary score is less, it means that maybe you've made mistakes with answer short questions, and answer short questions also give points to listening. So try to be 100% accurate with answer short questions as well. And after that, I think you can focus on the other tasks, the peripheral tasks like multiple choice questions, highlight correct summary, select missing word. Those all are generally low weight tasks. So no need to worry so much about those tasks, but obviously try your best. When you need 79 each, every question is important. And that's why I focus most on repeat sentence, write from dictation, summarize spoken text, retell lecture, highlight incorrect words, and answer short questions. These 6 tasks, if they go well, generally you will get 79 easily in listening, just these 6 tasks. So hope I helped your question, answered your question. Thank you, Bonita. I got a question from Amarjeet. Sir, I'm thinking to take one scored practice test from Pearson. If in that I will attempt only the speaking section, what benchmark do I need to set for listening, as I'm after 79 plus? Very good question, Amarjeet. You are asking directly to the point. I appreciate that. Well, there are 3 tests sold by Pearson, test A, B, C. For example, if you take test A, and if you get 90 out of 90 in speaking, and if actually speaking goes well, because both are different. Even if you make mistakes, you can easily get 90 in speaking because the software works with an overall picture of your speaking abilities. If you make no mistakes in speaking, the score in listening will be something like 45 in test A. That's the maximum possible score in test A. And the score in reading will be 31. So 31 in reading is a benchmark, and in listening is going to be 45. For every test, it's different, and I gave you an idea about test A. So hope I answered your question. Thanks. Well, Sanjay has a question as well. Hi, Malcolm, I am from Canberra. Is it possible to attend your masterclass online? Thank you. Unfortunately, Sanjay, the masterclass is not telecasted online. So I'm sorry about that. If you are planning to come to Melbourne anytime, you can come for a day. It's generally held on a Saturday. For example, we have it tomorrow as well. And of course, you can't attend it tomorrow, I know that. But you can come in December. The one in December for Melbourne CBD will be mostly on the 15th of December. Most probably on the 15th of December. Once it's confirmed, we will put it up on our website, which is ptetutorials.com. So you can just visit ptetutorials.com and just check and have a confirmation for that as well. All right. But I'm sorry about that. We don't air it live. Thanks for asking. Okay, I got another question from Deepesh Mishra. How to improve the score in written disclosure? Hi Deepesh, thanks for joining in. By the way, just to correct you, it's called written discourse and not written disclosure. Disclosure means you're disclosing something. Discourse means the flow, the structure. Now to improve the score in written discourse, focus on mainly 3 tasks. Only 3 tasks give you points in written discourse. One is summarize written text. Second is the essay, write essay. And third is summarize spoken text. So to improve the score in written discourse, I would recommend you to use a few connectors, cohesive devices as they are called, and focus on logical flow in your answers and grammatical flow also. Logical flow gives points to coherence and grammatical flow gives points to cohesion. So in between the paragraphs, for example, when you start the body paragraph in the essay, you can write something like firstly, comma. In the second paragraph, you can write moreover, comma, or to begin with, and furthermore, comma. Similarly, the conclusion paragraph, you can start with words like to conclude, comma, in conclusion, comma. So the software picks up these words, the link words, and basically it understands that what you're writing has good flow, has good rhythm. And mainly this contributes a lot to written discourse. Even in the summarize written text and summarize spoken text tasks, if you use words like moreover, furthermore, to conclude, lastly, overall, the software can understand that your writing has good discourse, and that is mainly the meaning of written discourse. So focus on a good structure. No need to memorize any templates, but whatever you write should make sense to the software, and sense in software's terms is called written discourse. Hope I made you understand that. All right. Well, also one more thing, that another super important task is write from dictation, and many times the difference between 78 and 79 in listening and writing is write from dictation. So friends, I cannot emphasize how important write from dictation is, and I would recommend you all to practice it as much as you can, especially those who are missing their target score in listening and writing by maybe 1 or 2 or 3 points. For example, Parnita Weir said that she gets 78 in listening, and which is very unlucky, but we have to deal with it. We have to get through the line, get over the line, and you'll have to get it quickly. So practice write from dictation as much as you can. You can definitely practice it from our app, which is PTE Tutorials, and you can also practice it on our Telegram group, which is also called PTE Tutorials. If you have not downloaded the app already, I would recommend you to download it. It's a free app, and it has got lots of questions for write from dictation. That is undoubtedly the most important task. So kindly practice it as much as you can. Dr. Amanpreet Sood, good evening. Thank you for joining. Good to have you back over here. Is grammar being checked in retell, lecture, and describe images? Thanks. Well, the honest answer is no. It's not being checked that much. Just a bit here and there, but no. The honest answer is no, it's not being checked. For example, let's say you have an image on your screen, and let's say there are 5 trees in the image. So let's say I say in the given image I can see 5 trees. There is 5 trees in the image. So obviously the answer should be there are 5 trees drawn on the image. But even if you say there is 5 trees a bit fluently, chances are you will get 90 easily in speaking also. Which means that grammar is not being checked that much in tasks mainly like describe image and retell lecture. So don't worry much about grammar. Just focus on fluency and clarity. Clarity mainly for the words which come in the audio and the words which you see on the screen. They should be spoken as clearly as possible from our mouths. The more clearer the words are, the higher the score will be. Alright, I hope I answered your question to the point. Thanks. And thanks Deepak, thanks for asking as well. Well, another very important task which people sometimes take very lightly I've seen is summarize spoken text. Well, in summarize spoken text, the problem is that it contributes to both listening and writing. So if you make mistakes in summarize spoken text, mainly spelling errors, believe me friends, it's going to impact your writing score very, very heavily. And that's why we need to be very careful with summarize spoken text. So kindly practice it as much as possible before you sit for the actual test, and don't take it lightly. Even a single spelling mistake can cost you dearly in summarize spoken text. So whether it's a proper noun, whether it's just a common noun, whatever it is, just be very careful with the spellings which you use, otherwise it's going to be a problem. Alright, I've got a question from Raman Verma. Sir, any specific tricks for repeat a sentence? I scored 74 in speaking. Thanks for joining in, Raman. Well, for repeat sentence, honestly, the best thing is understand the phrases. A sentence is made out of phrases. A phrase means a group of words which makes some sense. For example, Dr. Smith will be late for today's class. Now, whenever it is spoken in the actual exam, when this sentence comes, and if it comes, it will be like this. Dr. Smith will be late for today's class. So as you heard, I stressed on a few words, and generally native speakers always stress and give intonation to certain words. Dr. Smith will arrive late for today's class. So there are 3 main phrases. Try to understand and visualize how the sentence is spoken rather than what is spoken. If you understand the chunks and if you understand the way it is spoken, believe me, it becomes very easy. And the best thing you can do in repeat sentence, which you should do, is called bulk practice. Bulk practice means practice at least 50 to 60 questions of repeat sentence whenever you practice it, and don't mix any other task with repeat sentence. And similarly, don't mix any other task with write from dictation. Treat both the tasks separately. Repeat sentence practice separate, write from dictation practice separate. Many times people practice it together. Believe me, according to me, it's not a very smart thing to do because both are different tasks. And one more thing is that practice at least 10 to 20 questions of repeat sentence continuously back to back and then check them together. Don't do one and check one. Do one, check one. It wastes a lot of time. And in the actual exam as well, you get around 10 questions together. So the more you practice, the better you'll be prepared for this task. So practice around 50 questions in one sitting and then listen to your answers. Record your answers, record the whole time you're speaking and then check it. It will improve drastically. Well, Ripple Patel has a question. What is the reason for 10 in pronunciation? Well, the biggest reason, there are 2 main reasons. First reason is maybe incorrect mic position. Many times people put their mics parallel to the nose. Now if you put it somewhere over here, or sometimes I've seen people putting it over here just next to the eyes. Believe me or not, I've seen it in the actual exam. And sometimes people put it very low like this, below their chin. So if the mic position is not accurate, it might not pick up what you're saying, obviously. And that's one reason why pronunciation could be down. Now in the actual exam, the best position for the mic should be slightly below the lips. And that is recommended by Pearson itself. I am not saying that. Pearson itself recommends that the best mic position is below the lips. So you can put a hand like this and you put a mic slightly, put a hand below your lips and then adjust the mic tip. It should be below your hand. So that's the best way to adjust the mic position. And the second reason for low score in pronunciation is that sometimes people are very soft spoken and sometimes people are very loud like this in the actual exam. If you speak very softly or very loudly, it is going to be very unclear for the software to process what you're saying, which means we should speak very naturally, very normally. If people around us are very loud, it doesn't mean that we also should be loud. We should speak normally, naturally, calmly. The software is of a very high quality, mainly the voice recognition part in the software, and even the mics they use are generally of a very high quality. So we don't need to fear about anything. Just speak normally, naturally, like a normal human being would. If you do that, pronunciation will not be 10 guaranteed. Hope I answered your question. Well, I've got another question from Nishikant. He's asking about SST. So Nishikant, about SST, main word from the audio, and if the main word is not in your answer, again the score goes down. Now summarized spoken text should be around 70 words. The guideline says 50 to 70. I would recommend to write somewhere between 60 to 70, maybe around 65 to 70 words, so that the more content you write, the more points you get in listening, because listening always depends on what you write, what is the content score. So try to fit in as many keywords from the audio as possible in your answer. All right, thanks. Kuldeep has a question. Kuldeep Kaur. Hi Kuldeep, thanks for joining in. What is the main task to focus on in listening to get good score? Couple of main tasks, Kuldeep. There is not one main task, there are a couple of main tasks. One is repeat sentence. Second, write from dictation. These two most important. Number 3 in priority, summarize spoken text. Number 4, retell lecture. Number 5, highlight incorrect words. And number 6, answer short question. If these 6 tasks are 100% correct, generally you'll be very, very close to 79. All right, thanks. Well, Joseph has a question. Good morning, Joseph. Thanks for being here. I'm looking for a question. Yes. While we do RL, no, I can't see the question. Just give me a second, please. It's just disappeared from my screen. I can't see the question. Sorry, Joseph. If you can post it again, I'll be grateful. Well, Sridhar has a question. I got 85 in speaking, fluency is 90, but pronunciation is 35. So my question is, does pronunciation score affect listening score? Thanks. By the way, Sridhar, you had to write, does pronunciation score affect the listening score? It's not effect, but affects. So be careful in your grammar, in your writing part especially. And yes, pronunciation score obviously impacts the listening score, because in repeat sentence, for example, first you listen and then you speak. If you're getting a lower score in pronunciation, that means maybe you've spoken too fast, and maybe the software could not pick up the words at all. And if the software cannot pick up the words, it doesn't find the content from the audio in your answer, for example, in repeat sentence. Which means, yes, pronunciation does impact the listening score indirectly. So yes, try to be as clear as you can and don't be very fast also, because it's very obvious from your score which you have shared that I think you speak very, very fast in your speaking tasks. Software won't pick up if you're very speedy. So try to be a bit moderate with your speed. Thanks. Well, Bhumika has a question. I also get less in pronunciation, only 10, and good in others, but it affects my overall score. Please guide me. Bhumika, for pronunciation, I think you need to understand the sounds of English. For example, I believe you're from Gujarat. Even I'm from Gujarat. I'm from Ahmedabad. Kem cho majama. So Bhumika, what happens is that if your pronunciation has a very heavy accent, like I come from a very poor village in Gujarat. If you speak like this, for example, the software also understands that this is not how native speakers speak, which means you have a very heavy Indian sort of accent, and obviously the score in pronunciation will go down. So the best way to increase the score in pronunciation is, you don't need to pick up a new accent, you just speak the way you do, but try to be a bit loud, not very loud, just be a bit clear. And as I said, put your mic below your lips, not in front of your lips, or not above the lips also. It should be slightly below the lips. And the third thing is, try to understand the main sounds of the words in English. Try to listen to how native speakers communicate or speak in English. And there's a very good app, I think, I've forgotten the name, but I think it's called something like the 44 Sounds in English. And you can even find it on YouTube. You just search the 44 Sounds of English. There are plenty of videos available showing how the pronunciation of the words should be. For example, ROW is a row and RAW is raw. So you need to open your mouth appropriately when pronouncing the words. That is what impacts the score of speaking and reading and listening, because everything is speaking. That's why. Hope I answered your question. Well, Nishikant again has a question. I'm able to maintain the pitch in male range but not able to maintain fluctuations. Are fluctuations important? I'm using voice pitch recorder app. Now, honestly speaking, Nishikant, the thing is that many people believe that fluctuations should be there in the speech, and fluctuations are technically called intonations as per the PT guideline. Now, intonations are helpful, but the problem is that when Asians, or mainly people from the Indian subcontinent, use a lot of intonations, the software doesn't pick it up correctly sometimes. And people many times make mistakes. They use intonations at the wrong place instead of the right place. So it's advisable that until and unless you're sure of the fluctuations, try to keep your voice as steady as you can. Otherwise, the score will go down for sure. So if you're not sure about the stress on the words, where you should stress, how you should stress, don't stress. Rather than that, just speak naturally in a flat pitched voice. All right, thanks. Hi Santosh, good to see you here. Santosh has a question. He's asking, please tell me, I'm always struggling with listening. Rest all sections are 70, but listening is 62 or 63. Well, Santosh, the main problem is your speaking part, and to get a high score in listening, 70s in speaking is not enough, my friend, unfortunately. So you need to get a higher score in speaking. Speaking should be 90, not even 89 or 88. It's easy to get 90 in speaking. Just work a bit on your speaking, work more on repeat sentence, retell lecture, focus more on note taking quickly, and also be 100% accurate in answer short question. If repeat sentence, retell lecture, and answer short questions, these three tasks go well, your listening score guaranteed will cross 65. And also focus on write from dictation and listening, fill in the blanks. All the best. Yes, Joseph, thanks for posting the question again. While we do retell lecture, if they give us an image with certain points, so we just put those keywords in the structure, will that work? Well, honestly, I would recommend we should not follow the image on the screen, because the name of the task is retell lecture. The image is just an addition to the points of the lecture. It might be linked to the audio, it might not be linked to the audio. Because the name of the task is retell lecture, it means you retell what you listen, not what you see on the screen. I hope you get my point. So even if you follow a structure, if you don't have even a single word from the audio, yes, then you can follow the image. Otherwise, don't follow the image. Just take notes as quickly as you can at bullet train speed, and then just read it out in a correct way. That's all what is required in retell lecture. Again, I'm saying don't follow the image. Don't. Okay, Ekas Stringra. Hi Ekas, nice to have you here. I'm having issues with speaking with diaphragm as my voice is so thin. Well, I can imagine that sometimes people do have a problem. Well, I will suggest you to speak as softly as you can, as if you're talking whispers, very softly. But still try to speak from the diaphragm. Like, when you meditate, when you say Om, it comes from within, like that Om. It should come from within, not superficial, but from within. So when you try to speak with a heavy voice, if you practice it a bit, do some breathing exercises, it is possible. And second thing is, since you have a shrill voice, as you are saying, I believe you, try not to be very loud, because you anyways have a shrill voice, and if you're very loud, maybe the software won't pick up your fluctuations or your voice accurately. So you'll have to make an attempt at least to speak with a steady voice. The more steady your voice is and the more heavier it is, it will be more helpful for your score in pronunciation and speaking. And eventually speaking is what is going to give you points in reading and listening also. So just be relaxed. Don't take a lot of tension. It's okay. I've got many students, male and female, with a very thin voice. Almost all my students get 90 out of 90. It's almost guaranteed that if somebody studies with me, he's going to get, or she is going to get 90 in speaking. Otherwise, reading and listening is difficult to cross 79. So if they can get it, even after having a shrill voice, a thin voice, a low voice, you can get it as well. Don't worry, just keep on practicing. Keep on sharing your audio samples on our Telegram group, and teachers over there, including myself, will give a feedback to you so that you can improve. All right, thanks Ekas. Well, Joseph has another question. By the way, is grammar being checked in summarized spoken text? Yes, sir. Grammar is definitely being checked because you're writing something, and if you write, PT is a software. Software will check the grammar 100%. So yes, grammar is being checked in summarized spoken text. Be careful. Mohammed has a question. Hi sir, I wrote PT 2 times. Pronunciation still got 10. Well, Mohammed, as I said, it's sad that you got 10 in pronunciation, only 10. Maybe because of incorrect mic placement, or maybe because your voice is not clear enough, or maybe you speak a bit too fast. Now, I don't know what is the problem. So what you can do is you can join our group on PTE tutorials. It's a group on Telegram application. You can download the application and join it as quickly as you can. And just share your audio samples on the group. And just mark me or other tutors on Telegram. We are available almost throughout the day, 24 hours a day. Somebody or the other will be there. There are many tutors on the group and they will answer your question. Until we hear you, it's very difficult to say why you got 10. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Thanks. Well, I think I've answered all the questions and I'll be back again very soon, hopefully next week, with another video on another important task. But till then, just focus on the main tasks. And again, I'll repeat the main tasks in PT, which will get you 79 each. One is read aloud, very important. Second is repeat sentence, very important. Third is summarize written text, important. Fourth is write essay, important. Fifth is all the blanks in reading, important. Sixth, summarize spoken text, important. Seventh, listening, fill in the blanks, important. Eighth, write from dictation, very, very, very important. So focus on these 8 tasks. Most of the times, if you are 100% accurate in these 8, you will sail through and get 79 each easily in all 4. Well, I'll take the last 2 questions. Kuldeep has one more question. How much content matters in SST in listening section? Well, Kuldeep, listening and summarize spoken text and content. So yes, content matters immensely in summarized spoken text because the points in listening come from what you write. And what should you write? Obviously, you should write what you listen. So obviously, content matters a lot, and take content very, very seriously in summarized spoken text if you want to clear PT 79 in listening. Hope I've answered your question. Hina Ashgar has a question. I'm struggling in reading, reorder paragraphs and reading score. I'm sorry, Hina, I missed your comment. It has disappeared from my screen. If you could just post it again, I'll be grateful. Well, Kimberly has a question. Sir, can you repeat the 8 important tasks again? Yeah, sure, I can. Read aloud, repeat sentence, summarize written text, write essay, all the blanks in the reading module, summarize spoken text, listening, fill in the blanks, write from dictation. These 8 should be perfect, according to me. Thanks. Ali has a comment. I'm just lacking in listening 77 or 78. All other sections above 80. Well, Ali, focus on speaking. Focus on repeat sentence. That's very important for listening. Focus on retell lecture. Pack as much content as you can in your answers. Focus also on answer short question. Try to be 100% accurate. And last but not the least, focus on summarize spoken text, listening, fill in the blanks, write from dictation. These 3 tasks in listening should be 100% right if you're looking for 80 plus in listening. Thanks. Bhumika is saying my voice is thin. May it affect my pronunciation score? I need to listen to it, Bhumika. Without listening, it's very difficult for me to comment that what exactly is the reason for you getting just 10 in pronunciation. But yes, if you're very soft spoken, I would recommend you to be a bit louder, not very loud. You don't have to shout, just be a bit loud and hopefully things will improve substantially. Yes, I can see your question now, Hina. I'm struggling in reading, score I've gained almost 90 in each module. Now, if you're struggling in reading and you get 90 almost in each module, I would suggest you to focus on the actual reading module, which includes the blanks in reading and reorder paragraphs. Practice them as much as possible And for reorder paragraphs, always use logic more. Even for fill in the blanks, the drag and drop blanks, I know that many blanks are repetitive, but still just try to be 100% accurate with the blanks in reading. And thirdly, I suspect you might be making mistakes in read aloud or summarize written text in speaking and writing. That's what I suspect. So kindly work on perfection in summarize written text and also in read aloud. If these two tasks are perfect, guaranteed you'll get 79 the next time you take PT. All right, thanks. Well, thank you, Aman, for joining. Even I like taking such live sessions, and I'm glad that you could gain knowledge from my session. Thanks a lot for that comment. David is saying, sir, just want to say thank you for the last live session. I passed my PT with the score required. Many congratulations, David. We are really happy that you got your desired score, and we try our best to be helpful. Thanks a lot, and try to share among your friends that PT Tutorials is a helpful platform and people can definitely benefit a lot from it. Thanks so much for that comment, and many congratulations to you. Hope you get your PR very soon, or whatever your requirement is. I hope it's satisfied soon. Well, last question, then I'm done. Parminder is saying, I'm struggling in reading every time I get 50. Well, Parminder, focus on read aloud, focus on summarize written text and the blanks in reading. Generally, if these three tasks go well, you will get more than 50 definitely in reading. Well, thank you very much, all of you. I enjoyed today's live session as well. And very soon I'll come up with another live session. And just to let you know, many of my students in this week itself have got 8 each, and also I've got 90. At least 2 people have got 90 also overall. So it's been a very productive week. And every time I see a score of 8 each, 7 each, 6 each, whatever the requirement is, when it's achieved, I'm really happy for my students. So friends, think PT tutorials. And one last thing, tomorrow, that is the 24th of November, I'm having my master class at the Melbourne CBD premises. The address is level 2, 290 Collins Street. It's a one-day intense crash course. Starts at 10 in the morning and goes on till 5:30 in the evening. In case you wish to attend it, you have not already registered for it, it's all right. You can pay the fees directly at the center. Just come here by 9:45. Seats are available. So see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning. And till the next time, all the best. Think PT tutorials. Thank you. My name is Malcolm. Thank you.